The thing about it, me and Adidas, is like, I could literally say anti-Semitic and they can't drop me. I could say anti-Semitic things and Adidas can't drop me.
Well, no, you can't, I guess. That didn't age well. About a week after Kanye West said that and other anti-Semitic things, Adidas did finally drop him today. Hours later, Gap said they are pulling all of the rapper's Yeezy merchandise from their store shelves immediately. But his supporters, they are still out there. Over the weekend, an anti-Semitic hate group hung a banner supporting his rhetoric over a Los Angeles freeway. Let's discuss. Joining us now, former Democratic Senator from Minnesota, my friend Al Franken, who hosts a podcast bearing his name. And George M. Johnson, new friend of mine, an activist and author of All Boys Aren't Blue, which has become one of the most banned books in the United States. Gentlemen, I welcome you both. George wins better dressed, just so you know, Al, you've already lost this segment. I want to get both of your takes. George, to you first. Your take on what's happened to Kanye.
Yeah, like
with Kanye, not to Kanye.
Like with Kanye, right? Like, what took so long? I was around for, slavery was a choice. And as I gave my speech tonight, honoring the ancestors at the Time 100 Next Gala, I think about that when I think about what's happening now, right? It's like what took so long for everybody else to understand that this person's rhetoric was this dangerous, was this problematic, was this harmful to not just the people who lived in our past, but to all of us who have to exist now, underneath the oppressions and the new laws and all of these things that are coming against Black people, queer people, trans people, as we watch these bills roll out, Roe v. Wade being overturned, right? Like, this is not something brand new, and we watched this rhetoric for years, and they allowed it until it got to being anti-Semitic, and now all of a sudden everybody's like, now the line has been crossed.
What do you think about that, Al? Because he makes the point, right? In 2013, Kanye put the Confederate flag on his merchandise. In 2015, he said racism is a dated concept. In 2020, he said that slavery was a choice. During that time period, what happened to Kanye? He got bigger and bigger contracts, and he got richer and richer. What does it say about us as a culture and a society that we were okay with that racism? And we've rightfully so drawn a line today. We've drawn a line now. But what did take so long?
I don't know. I mean, he's Black. And
so you can be racist if you're Black? We're down with that?
And you can't be anti-Semitic if you're Jewish either. I mean, there's been this history of all of this, and I can't believe it's taken this long. And, I'm Jewish. There is a bad history here, as there is a bad terrible history in this country of slavery. But anti-Semitism is just on the rise here. The ADL takes these instances, the statistics, they've just been going up and up and up. You saw this thing today. And Republicans aren't condemning it. They haven't condemned the other stuff either. And Trump has been leading the way in this from Charlottesville. Jews will not replace us. Good people on both sides. When he started doing that stuff about the caravan in 18, and there was all that old Soros is paying for the caravan, and you saw the Tree of Life murders. This is a very dangerous thing, and I don't have an answer for you.
We shouldn't stand for any hate speech. Right. We should not stand for any racism, any anti-Semitism. But what does this say to you when you look at this and you say, hold on a minute. So everybody was okay with racism all this time, buying your Yeezy sneakers, getting your Gap jacket, but now you draw the line. It's as though, what does that say about our country?
Yeah, I also want to clarify a few things. You cannot be racist as a Black person. You can be prejudiced as a Black person. You can be prejudiced against many systems. You can be prejudiced against the systems of oppressions that are against you. But like racism is a system that exists for a certain person, which is a white person who already has the power to condemn, to oppress, to literally affect your livelihood. So it's like, I understand where we're going with this, but it's like a black person can't be racist, right? Like a black person does not have that type of power to will that type of thing. Now, what Kanye West was doing, though, was he being anti-Semitic? Yes. Was he participating in anti-blackness? Yes. And those are things that we can address, and those are things that we can call out. And what I would have liked to have happen was those things should have been called out when he said that, you know, slavery was a choice. When he was making
2013, 2015, 2018, when he became a billionaire.
Right. When those things were happening and he was still climbing up using that rhetoric, that was when those things should have been addressed.
When
Many of us
truthfully people like me allowed their children to get Yeezy sneakers. That is an ugly truth, right? I didn't do anything, but what did I do in the last few days? Spoke out against anti-Semitism. So what does that say about all of us? What have we been desensitized to?
Maybe George's point speaks to what I just kind of instinctually came up with, was when I said, well, he's black, and therefore, and you said he can't be racist because he's black. I'm just trying to figure this out. I don't know the answer.
And we are
to this.
together.
And so maybe that's
how progress happens.
That's an odd piece of it. That's where I went kind of instinctually.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's an odd piece of it when you say a black person can't be racist. Maybe there's something in people's minds that somehow that explains some of this, not all of it.
The honest truth is a black person can be prejudiced because of the experiences that they've had throughout their life, right? Like, I grew up as a black person in this country, and so, like, I can be prejudiced and, like, have, like, a really disdain and a hatred even towards white people, because if my experience was that was my direct oppressor for so many years and for so long, then I can have that. But racism is not just about, like, I hate you. It's a system. And anti-blackness is a system, and it's a system that throughout education, throughout healthcare, it oppresses us all. So, or oppresses black people as a whole. So,
okay,
you know,
this is a healthy and constructive conversation.
Absolutely.
But Brittany Patnett Cunningham put something out on Twitter today that I thought was really profound.
Yes.
Where she said, white supremacists love seeing the black and Jewish community fight with one another. White supremacists do not like blacks or Jewish people. So right now, are they actually getting their dream come true?
Well, yeah, well, you see us fighting.
Are we fighting?
No.
By the way, no, I was. By the way, I want to say something, which is I'm one of the only two people here that was one of the Time 100.
Oh, yes.
And you two met like an hour ago.
We met an hour ago. We did.
Okay.
And I was worried that you weren't going to be that impressive of a guest tonight. And so I said, God, I met a guy tonight. Great, let's bring George in. I'm kidding. He doesn't think my joke is funny. This isn't a funny segment.
It was funny.
Yeah.
This isn't a funny segment.
But I understand.
How do we address this, though? Right? What if this is true? What if this is true? This is what white supremacists want.
Yes.
Sure, they want this, and we can't let them. I mean, we have to friggin' fight them. And this is scary. This is a scary time. Our democracy is at stake, and we're going in a direction that's very bad, and we've seen this in history before. And part and parcel is racism. Part and parcel is anti-Semitism. And it's very, very dangerous.
Well, you know how you fight hate? With love. And I appreciate you both being here, my new friend and my dear friend. Thank you, George. Thank you, Al.
Thank you.